Bugünkü detaylı incelememize hoş geldin. Elimizde yine oldukça farklı alanlardan kaynaklar var. KKTC için kritik bir havayolu anlaşması, Kıbrıs sorununun diplomatik kulvarı, Türkiye'de hem siyaset hem de doğal afetlerle ilgili sıcak gelişmeler ve Teksas'tan da maalesef üzücü bir haber.
Evet, gündem yoğun yine.
Amacımız her zamanki gibi bu karmaşık gündemden senin için en can alıcı noktaları çekip çıkarmak. Hazırsan KKTC'deki hava ulaşımı ile başlayalım. Bu konuda epeydir bir beklenti vardı, değil mi?
Kesinlikle vardı, evet. Kaynaklar bu beklentinin artık somut bir adıma dönüştüğünü gösteriyor. KKTC Başbakanı Ünal Üstel, THK ve AJET ile Ada Kıbrıs projesi için yarın bir anlaşma imzalanacağını duyurmuş.
Ada Kıbrıs projesi.
Evet, temel hedef özellikle Türkiye-Ercan hattında hani Kıbrıs Türk Hava Yolları kapandıktan sonra ciddi bir sorun haline gelen o yüksek bilet fiyatlarını daha makul seviyelere çekmek.
Makul fiyat her zaman iyi haber tabii ama bu anlaşmanın ötesinde ne gibi detaylar var? Yani sadece fiyat mı konu yoksa daha stratejik bir boyutu da mı var bu işin?
Fiyat önemli ama tek başına değil, doğru. Anlaşmayla Türkiye'nin büyük şehirlerine düzenli shuttle yani mekik uçuşlar planlanıyor.
Ha, o mekik uçuşlar.
Aynen. Daha da önemlisi kaynaklar bilet fiyatlarının alt ve üst limitlerinin belirlenmesinde KKTC yönetiminin de söz sahibi olacağını belirtiyor. Bu önemli bir nokta.
Evet, bu gerçekten kritik yani pazarlık gücü veriyor bir nevi KKTC'ye.
Kesinlikle. Bu adaya sadece daha ucuz değil, aynı zamanda daha öngörülebilir bir ulaşım imkanı sunma potansiyeli taşıyor. İşte yeni Ercan Havalimanı'nın 2025'te 6 milyon yolcu hedefi, ki bu %50 artış demek, bu adımla daha ulaşılabilir görünüyor sanki.
O hedef iddialıydı zaten.
Evet, hatta yarın sabah ilk uçağın Ercan'da olacak olması da güzel, sembolik bir başlangıç.
Adanın dış dünyayla yani hava yoluyla bağlantısı güçlenirken diplomatik bağlantılar ne durumda peki? Kıbrıs sorununda bir hareketlilik var mı?
Var, evet. BM kişisel temsilcisi Malia Holguin o mekik diplomasine devam ediyor. Kaynaklar New York'ta yapılması düşünülen gayri resmi 5+1 formatındaki toplantı öncesi temaslarını sürdürdüğünü gösteriyor.
Şu 5+1 yani iki taraf, garantörler ve BM.
Aynen öyle. Ankara, Atina, Brüksel ve Londra temaslarını bitirmiş Holguin. Yarın önce Cumhurbaşkanı Ersin Tatar, sonra da Rum lider Nikos Christodoulidis ile görüşecekmiş.
Tatar'ın tavrı belli mi peki?
Tatar'ın pozisyonu net görünüyor. Kaynaklara göre New York'a katılacağını ama iki devletin işbirliğine dayalı çözümü savunacağını, federasyon temelini kabul etmeyeceğini Holguin'e tekrar ileteceğini belirtmiş.
Anlıyorum. Peki Türkiye tarafına geçelim biraz. Orada da gündem oldukça yoğun sanki. Özellikle siyasi temaslar ve PKK ile ilgili beklentiler konusunda kaynaklar ne diyor? Bu kritik aşama lafı dolaşıyor. Ne anlama geliyor bu?
Evet, o ifade önemli. Kaynaklar terörsüz Türkiye hedefi doğrultusunda önemli bir dönemece girildiğini ve PKK'nın önümüzdeki hafta silah bırakabileceğine dair güçlü beklentiler olduğunu aktarıyor.
Ciddi bir beklenti yani bu.
Öyle görünüyor. Bu bağlamda bugün DEM Parti heyetinin İmralı'da yani Abdullah Öcalan'ın bulunduğu yerde bir görüşme yaptığı belirtiliyor. Yarın ise saat 15'te Cumhurbaşkanı Erdoğan'ın DEM Parti İmralı heyetini yani Pervin Buldan ve Mithat Sancar'ı kabul etmesi bekleniyor.
Peş peşe önemli görüşmeler.
Aynen bu görüşmelerin olası bir silah bırakma sürecinin koşullarını ve detaylarını netleştirmeye yönelik olduğu anlaşılıyor. Yani sürecin hassasiyeti ve potansiyel sonuçları açısından gerçekten kritik bir dönem gibi duruyor.
Gerçekten de öyle. Bu siyasi hareketlilik sürerken Türkiye bir yandan da doğal afetlerle boğuşuyordu geçtiğimiz günlerde. Yangınlarla ilgili son durum nedir?
Evet, ülke çok zorlu bir 10 gün geçirdi maalesef. Kaynaklar bu kısa sürede tam 761 yangınla mücadele edildiğini belirtiyor ki bu yılbaşından beri çıkan tüm yangınların neredeyse 1/4 demek. Çok yüksek bir rakam.
İnanılmaz.
Özellikle İzmir, Sakarya, Hatay gibi yerlerde 20 büyük yangın ciddi hasara yol açtı. Ancak iyi haber şu ki, İletişim Başkanlığı dün itibariyle tüm bu 761 yangının kontrol altına alındığını duyurdu.
Oh, neyse ki.
Büyük bir çaba var tabii orada. Kesinlikle 27 uçak, 105 helikopter ve 25 bin personelin yoğun çabası söz konusu. Çok büyük bir operasyon yürütüldü.
Bir yanda ateşle mücadele varken dünyanın başka bir yerinde, Teksas'ta suyla gelen bir felaket var galiba. Oradaki durum nedir?
Maalesef Teksas'tan gelen haberler gittikçe ağırlaşıyor. Şiddetli yağışların yol açtığı sellerde hayatını kaybedenlerin sayısı 51'e çıkmış. 15'i çocuk maalesef.
Çok acı.
Evet, çok acı. Kaynaklarda Guadalupe Nehri'nin 45 dakikada 8 metre yükselmesi gibi inanılmaz detaylar var. Düşünebiliyor musun? 45 dakikada 8 metre. Kayıp 27 kız çocuğunu arama çalışmaları da devam ediyor. Bölgede büyük bir yıkım ve 800'den fazla insanın tahliyesi söz konusu. Durum ciddi orada.
Allah yardımcıları olsun. Küresel ve bölgesel bu büyük olaylar yaşanırken KKTC'ye dönersek tekrar, yerel gündemde neler öne çıkıyor? Yani hayat orada nasıl akıyor bu büyük başlıkların gölgesinde?
Tabii yerel gündeminde kendi dinamikleri var, haklısın. Maalesef İskele'de çok üzücü bir olay yaşanmış. 4 yaşındaki Azan Muhammed isimli bir çocuk, bir restorana ait yetişkin havuzunda boğularak hayatını kaybetmiş. Soruşturma sürüyormuş.
Ah, çok kötü olmuş.
Evet, çok trajik. Daha farklı bir konu ise elektrikli scooter kullanımı. Bu her yerde bir mesele artık, biliyorsun. Polis, kurallara uymayan 102 scooter'a el konulduğunu açıklamış ve temel kuralları hatırlatmış.
Nedir o kurallar mesela?
İşte 18 yaş altı kullanımının yasak olduğu, şehirler arası yollarda ve hız limiti 50 kilometre üzeri olan yerlerde kullanılamayacağı, kaldırımda sürmenin, yolcu veya yük taşımanın, tek elle sürmenin yasak olduğu gibi temel şeyler. Gündelik hayatın düzenlemeleri de devam ediyor yani bir yandan.
Anladım. Evet, oldukça yoğun ve farklı başlıklardan oluşan bir gündemi senin için derlemeye çalıştık. KKTS için hava ulaşımında potansiyel olarak yeni bir dönem başlarken Kıbrıs diplomasisi kritik görüşmelerle devam ediyor. Türkiye'de hem siyaset arenasında hem de doğayla mücadelede önemli gelişmeler var.
Tüm bu parçalar aslında ne kadar bağlantılı, ne kadar iç içe geçmiş bir dünyada yaşadığımızı bir kez daha gösteriyor. Yani KKTC'deki bir ulaşım anlaşmasının ekonomik ve sosyal etkileri, Türkiye'deki siyasi gelişmelerin bölgesel yansımaları, işte bu doğal afetlerin küresel boyutu, hepsi birbiriyle öyle ya da böyle ilişkili.
Diplomatik adımlar var, işte KKTC uçuşları, Kıbrıs görüşmeleri gibi. Diğer yanda iç siyasi dinamikler ve doğanın gücü var. Yangınlar, seller, bu farklı ölçeklerdeki olaylar birbirini nasıl besliyor ya da belki engelliyor. Ve bu etkileşim gelecekte ne gibi, belki de beklenmedik sonuçlar doğurabilir.
Güzel bir soru, üzerine düşünmeye değer gerçekten.
Bir sonraki incelememizde görüşmek üzere.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a little different. We've got this single, really dense source, a news broadcast from North Cyprus. It's the Haber show from BRT Archive, dated July 6th, 2025. Our goal here is, well, to quickly pull out the key info, the surprising bits, and what it all really means, trying to cut through the noise for you.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating snapshot. You get this very specific regional view on things that, connect locally, but also nationally, even globally sometimes.
Okay, so let's jump in. Big headline first.
Yeah.
Looks like the start of a low-cost flight era for North Cyprus. The Prime Minister, Ünal Üskül, announced a major deal with Turkish Airlines and Ayrıca. It's getting signed tomorrow, July 7th. Part of something called the Adadaki project.
Right, Island Cyprus. And this is, well, it's huge for them.
Why so huge? Beyond just cheaper tickets, I mean.
Yeah.
What's the strategic angle here for an island nation like North Cyprus?
Well, think about it. Air travel isn't just convenient for North Cyprus. It's basically a lifeline. Their main connection to the outside. It's air or sea. That's it. And for years, there's been, a lot of public unhappiness, real economic drag from high ticket prices, especially since Cyprus Turkish Airlines shut down.
Right, I remember that.
So this Adakobras project, it's deliberately trying to make the place easier and cheaper to get to. It's aimed squarely at tourism and higher education, two absolute pillars of their economy.
So bringing down prices isn't just about saving money for travelers.
Exactly. It's about widening their reach, strengthening economic ties, especially with Turkey. It kind of pushes back against their isolation.
And the practical impact for you listening in is pretty concrete. The new Erkin Airport had just opened recently, didn't it?
That's right.
They're shooting for 6 million passengers in 2025. That's, wow, almost a 50% jump.
Huge numbers.
And this deal means daily shuttle flights to big cities in Turkey. Plus, and this seems key, North Cyprus gets a say in setting ticket prices, both the minimum and the maximum.
Yes, that control is a major shift.
Yeah. We even heard one of the new planes is actually landing at Erkin tomorrow morning, so things are moving fast. Now, speaking of critical connections, let's shift to diplomacy. Things are heating up around the Cyprus issue, too. Preparations are underway for that unofficial 5+1 summit in New York. The UN's personal representative, Maria Olguin, she's just finished talks in Turkey, Greece, Brussels, the UK.
Quite the tour.
And she's meeting the leaders tomorrow, July 7th. President Tatar at 9 a.m., then the Greek Cypriot leader, Nikos Christodoulides, at 11. So 5+1. What does that actually mean in this context, and what's really on the table?
Okay, so the 5+1 is the two sides on the island plus the three guarantor powers. That's Turkey, Greece, and the UK and the UN. It's a format that's basically trying to find new ways forward because the old reunification talks have been stuck for ages.
Right.
And President Tatar, he's already laid out his position for the New York meeting later in July. He says he's going to protect Turkish Cypriot rights, wants cooperation between two states on some issues.
Two states, okay.
Yeah. And he's going to tell Olguin again, no federation talks. So you're seeing these fundamentally different views, almost polar opposites, really clashing. It's a critical moment for the island's future.
Okay. So two very distinct visions for the future there.
Precisely.
Moving from those high-level talks, let's look at something foundational. Education. President Tatar was also seen highlighting its importance. He attended a graduation ceremony for Anadolu University's open education faculty in Lefkoşa. What's the significance of an institution like that there?
Well, it's quite interesting. Anadolu University's open faculty has been in North Cyprus for 43 years now?
Wow, that long.
Yeah, and they have millions of students in 53 countries. They're even reaching into Africa now. So having that base in North Cyprus, it subtly boosts the region's profile, shows resilience. It turns education into a kind of quiet diplomacy.
That's a fascinating way to put it.
It really underlines education as this vital investment in the country's future. It's not just about diplomas, it's about building the nation, building capacity through knowledge.
Let's widen the lens now. Some critical things happening in Turkey, and also a really tragic global event. First, Turkey. We heard about a key phase in this Turkey without terror process. The PKK is expected to potentially lay down arms next week.
That's the report, yes. Potentially major development.
And President Erdogan is meeting a delegation from the Dem Party tomorrow, July 7th. Now, for listeners maybe not deep into Turkish politics, can you quickly explain Dem Party, Imaralı, Abdullah Öcalan? What's the context?
Sure. So the Dem Party is a major pro-Kurdish political party in Turkey. Imaralı is the island prison where Abdullah Öcalan, he's the long-imprisoned leader of the PKK, the Kurdistan Workers' Party, is held.
Okay.
The PKK is designated a terrorist group by Turkey and many allies. So this meeting between the Dem Party delegation, who just visited Öcalan, and Erdogan, it's all focused on the possibility of the PKK disarming. It's a huge, very sensitive step in trying to end a conflict that's lasted decades.
Got it. A really delicate moment then.
Very much so. And, this brings up a broader point, how nations handle massive challenges, whether they're man-made conflicts or natural disasters.
Right.
Take Turkey's recent wildfires. They just tackled 761 fires across the country in only 10 days.
761 in 10 days.
Yeah, and the government announced today they're all under control now. But get this. That number, 761, that's 25%, a quarter of all the fires they've had in Turkey this year, all crammed into that 10-day period.
Wow. The scale of the response must have been enormous.
Absolutely massive. We're talking 27 planes, 105 helicopters, 6,000 vehicles on the ground, 25,000 people. The aircraft alone flew over 19,000 missions, dropped more than 62,000 tons of water. It really shows a huge coordinated national effort against a major environmental crisis.
It's hard to even picture that. And then tragically, you have this awful contrast. The news from Texas. The flood death toll is now 51, including 15 children.
It's just heartbreaking.
Authorities apparently said the rainfall forecasts were wrong. And that detail about the Guadalupe River, rising 8 meters in 45 minutes.
Just staggering. Almost impossible to imagine that speed, that force.
Yeah. Leading to homes, cars submerged, and that search for the missing girls from the summer camp. Just terrible.
Truly sobering. Over 800 evacuated, the governor asking for more federal help. It's a stark reminder of nature's power and, well, the challenges of disaster response everywhere.
Bringing it back to North Cyprus now, focusing on daily life, community safety. There's some really tragic news.
Yes, unfortunately.
A 4-year-old boy, Azan Mohammed, drowned in an adult pool at a restaurant in Iskil. They couldn't save him at the hospital. Just devastating.
It really is. The police are investigating, of course, but it's just a terrible reminder about needing constant vigilance, especially around pools and kids.
Absolutely. And on a different safety note, but still about public spaces, the police are really cracking down on electric scooter use. They're reminding people about the rules.
Yeah, yes. The e-scooters, we see that issue popping up everywhere, don't we?
Seems like it. So what are the specific challenges North Cyprus might be facing here, given these pretty strict rules they're laying out?
Well, it looks like a classic case of new tech moving faster than infrastructure or regulations. The rules you heard about, like no under 18s on faster roads, use bike paths, no passengers, stay off sidewalks, they suggest they're trying hard to manage safety and maybe congestion, too.
Right.
It's probably a place not originally designed for lots of scooters whizzing around, and the fact they've already confiscated, 102 scooters?
Yeah, 102?
That shows they're serious about enforcing these rules. It's really a snapshot of a community trying to adapt to modern urban mobility, you know?
And related to that, keeping roads safe. There were nationwide traffic checks. Over 1,600 drivers checked, nearly 300 cited for offenses.
What were the main things?
Top ones were speeding 96 cases, drunk driving 20 cases, and driving unregistered vehicles 35 cases. 59 vehicles impounded, couple of arrests too. So a constant effort there.
Standard enforcement, but clearly necessary.
Now, shifting from regulations to something deeper. Social fabric, democracy. There was a powerful statement about journalist Tutlu Adelo.
Yes. On his death anniversary.
The press trade union said they won't be silent until his killers are brought to justice. They said the bullets that killed him were aimed at freedom of expression itself, calling the lack of justice a shame and a dark stain. What's the weight behind a statement like that?
It carries immense weight. Adali's assassination back in '96 is still unsolved. For journalists and activists there, his case is symbolic of the fight against censorship, against silencing critics.
I see.
So that statement, it connects his personal tragedy directly to the health of democracy. They're saying, look, if you can't get justice for attacks on the press, it undermines everything. Even in a daily news bulletin, you find these profound echoes of universal values.
Powerful stuff. Okay, let's lighten the mood slightly. There's also community celebration happening. The 53rd Traditional Eskil Festival is ending tonight, July 6th.
Right, with a concert by Sela, the Turkish singer.
Yeah, and the festival sounded great. They had a Larnaca residence night, local food, folk dancing. President Tatar's wife, Sybil Tatar, spoke about passing on traditions, keeping cultural values alive. A nice blend of old and new.
Definitely important for community identity.
And finally, let's hit some sports highlights and check the weather. Lots happening in sports, actually.
Yeah.
Young athletes did really well in Turkey. At the U14 Championships in Eskişehir, Azra Afşiz won the high jump 1.41 meters. And Kumsal Arsal came second in the 200 meters. Great results.
Fantastic. Good for them.
In football, the U12 national team went to Turkey for a tournament hosted by Trabzonspor. That's a big club.
Very prestigious invitation.
And locally, in the U14 League semis, Ganyeli drew with Dumlupinar, while Mausa Türkgücü got a 2-1 away win against Tekinkaya. Basketball finals are heating up too. Men's League Final Series, Game 3 tomorrow night between AK and Ganyeli Kopenk.
Okay.
And the U16 Women's Final Series, Game 2 also tomorrow. Levent Akdenizspor leads 1-0. If they win tomorrow, they're champions.
Lots of action tomorrow then.
For sure. And this was nice, a community sports angle. The Mausa Sports Academy Association held a lottery to raise funds for their women's football and girls volleyball teams.
Good initiative.
Get this. The guy who won the 5,000 lira prize, Zeki Tasoy, he donated 2,000 lira right back to the academy.
Oh, that's wonderful. Really speaks to the community spirit.
Doesn't it? And quickly, there was also a Taekwondo, Karate, Judo, Aikido Federation Summer Cup. So sports are clearly thriving, from grassroots to national level.
Great to hear. Okay, so what's the weather looking like for tomorrow over there?
Right, the forecast. So North Cyprus is under a low-pressure system. Expect humid and hot air.
Uh-oh. Hot, how hot?
Forecast is clear to partly cloudy. Winds moderate to strong from the south and west. Highs could hit 40 Celsius in Lefkosia. That's 104 Fahrenheit.
Wow. Okay.
36 in Gurney, 33 in Gazi Mazusa. And of the sea. Moderate to rough. Wave maybe up to 2 meters. So yeah, definitely a scorcher tomorrow.
Phew. Okay, good to know. You know, looking back at everything we just unpacked, all from that one news report. It really shows how interconnected everything is. Local stuff, national policies, even global events, like how a flight deal shapes the economy or a town festival keeps traditions alive. It's all part of this bigger picture of how a place works, how it evolves day to day.
Exactly. So just by listening, you've gotten a real glimpse into top-level diplomacy, everyday public safety, big national shifts, and even inspiring moments in sports and education, all from one news bulletin. You get a pretty unique, specific feel now for that part of the world and its daily rhythm. And here's something to maybe chew on. Think about how the specific issues and hopes we saw in North Cyprus today, things like economic access, political identity, community safety, cultural preservation, how often these are just local versions of universal themes about governing, growing, staying safe, and holding on to community. Challenges and dreams that you find really anywhere in the world.